Good morning. It's the day. We're getting on the plane this morning. Well, actually this afternoon, but we have been finalizing all of our packing. And so I'm just here to tell you that this was actually a lot more challenging than I thought. So we're gonna back up and show you about a week ago when we really got serious and got focused with our packing. But now that we're kind of like got the suitcases, we're in the final stages of zipping them up, I'm just reflecting on how actually tricky this pack was. And I think it's for a few reasons. That we're gonna be gone for 10 days, 5 people, 10 days. We have a pretty good idea of the weather, but it's gonna vary like 20 degrees, and it's gonna vary from like that, could be 50 degrees up to 70 degrees. So you do have to like pack for that range of like really kind of cool to comfortably warm. And it's gonna rain. So we have to pack for like all the rain gear, rain jackets, all of that. So the weather is super variable. And then there's a wide range of activities. So we'll just be, you know, everything from like hiking, being in the outdoors, to doing things like Frozen night, which is so fun, and being on the ship. There will be a formal night. Some of us are going more full out than others, which you'll see in the vlogs, but there's just a lot to think about, like being comfortable, being out on the pool deck, to being geared up to going out into the great outdoors, to going whale watching tomorrow. I can't believe it's here. This was a lot, but we're gonna back up to take you back to a week ago when we really were getting focused and serious. I hope you enjoy like our best laid plans, our good intentions, but just appreciating that this is tricky. It's a lot. If you are the one who's like packing for your family and you've got to pack for a lot of people, just all my love and all my solidarity to you, because it's no easy feat. And getting everybody ready to like travel and be on an airplane for like 8 hours today, making sure everybody's got like the snacks and all the things to like make that feel like it's gonna go smoothly. We'll show you a little bit here of like what the kind of the finished product looks like, but then we'll walk you through a little bit more of our process. So hope you enjoy. Don't mind the kitty cats, but we've ended up taking 3 checked bags. So we've got this one checked bag here. There's another checked bag there. Then we will have this big Osprey duffel that we'll be checking. Then we're gonna do 3 carry-ons. So we've got this 2 away pieces of luggage right here. And then we've got this other small piece here. Everybody will have their own little backpack that you can kind of see over there. I'll have a backpack. It feels like a lot actually to me. I don't enjoy having this much stuff because I just think higher likelihood of losing luggage, higher likelihood, whether that's the airline or whether that's us. I just don't like having to manage and keep up with this much, but I think it's practical. I think it's what we need given all of the complexity and the realities and all the fun of a Disney cruise. You got all these like fun things like your magnets and your fish extenders and all of that good stuff. Almost ready to go. All right, so this is what we ended up with. We have these 3 carry-on pieces of luggage. This checked bag right here. That checked bag right there. And this, is it Osprey duffel? All right. Here we go. Good morning. Morning. We are getting ready to really finalize our packing for our upcoming Disney cruise. We've been packing now for about a month, I think.
Several weeks.
But this is going to be our final packing that we're excited to show you how we pack for a Disney cruise. And this is actually a really unique one because it is an Alaskan cruise. So if you're not traveling to Alaska, that's okay. I think you're going to get a lot out of this because to me, this is probably the most complex packing for a Disney vacation we've ever done. What about it feels complex to you?
We go on a cruise anywhere like Florida or the Caribbean. Obviously, you're not wearing as many clothes, and so it's fewer clothes to pack or less bulky clothes. And with Alaska, it is a little bit of everything from cold to rainy to warm, so we're having to pack a lot of bulky stuff.
I think we're packing for about like 25 to 30 degrees differential, 5 people. It's a lot. So we're going to break this down into 3 main categories that I think will be really helpful for you. I'm going to talk to you about some of the specific Disney components, things that you'll want to think about if you're going on a Disney cruise. We're going to talk about the kid components, some tips and tricks I've learned along the way traveling with a family and with kids for the past 12 years. And then we're going to talk a little bit about preparing for some specific Alaska pieces. So we might try to focus on that towards the end. So if you're here for primarily preparing for a Disney cruise vacation, we will try to help you get the most out of it with the Disney and the kid pieces, a little bit more on the front side. But let's start with a few general thoughts on the baggage strategy here.
Yeah, baggage is a big strategy because, it looks like you're just packing your stuff and getting on a plane, but when you're talking about a family, weight restrictions and sizes, you really have to think about it.
Yeah, and I would say there are a lot of people who are very kind of religious one way or the other, like very minimalistic or about their packing, like only do carry-ons, or they there's a lot of people who love to pack, make sure they've got everything under the sun, like full first aid kits, and they believe in being like completely prepared for any situation. I would say that we are just religious about being practical. What is practical for this trip? When we do travel, just the 2 of us, we went to Scotland earlier this year, and we were gone for like 8 to 9 days to Europe, and we packed only in a carry-on. And so I loved that. I loved being minimal, but that was about really being practical because of the way that we were traveling. We needed to have less stuff. For this trip, it's practical to have, I think, a wide range of things for the wet, rainy weather of Alaska. A lot of people have talked about how wet and rainy it's going to be, so staying dry will be important. And then also knowing that I was doing some calculating. There's 5 of us. We're going to be gone for 10 days. And I think between having a shirt, a bottom, shoes, socks, underwear, accessories, at minimum, that's like 6 items, individual items per person per day. So that's like 30 things you have to account for per day because there's 5 of us. So 6 times 5 is 30 times 10. So that's a minimum of like 300 unique items before you even talk about outerwear, before you're talking about toiletries, before the Disney specific pieces, all of that. It is a lot. So we're going to try to be minimal where we can. We're going to try to rewear where we can. We can talk a little bit about laundry on a Disney cruise later on. But you are spending a lot to be on a Disney cruise. And so there are laundry options on the cruise ship. It's just whether or not you feel like you want to spend time on your Disney cruise doing laundry. It's totally up to you. I do think it will probably be practical for us, knowing how long we are gone, to have a laundry option while we are away. So it's a lot. We're going to try to keep it as minimal as we can, just because like moving through the airport, having to keep up with ourselves will probably be enough.
Yeah.
So what kind of bags did we get?
So we've got a combination for, like she said, what works for you is the key. And what works for us is things that are efficient and things that meet the baggage requirements so that we can pack bulk without exceeding the weight limit. Because airlines, as you know, have checked luggage requirements for both size and weight. And for the domestic and international flights we're on, they're a maximum of 50 pounds, which you can actually get to pretty quick, because what I found is most rollerboard bags that are checked are about 10 to 12 pounds, just the empty bag. So that doesn't leave you with much. And so what we've done is balanced having 2 checked bags that have wheels to make it easier to move around. You can also slide on top of your carry-on or personal items. But then I've also added a new bag for us, which is more of a duffel bag, but it also has backpack straps. And the reason I opted for it is it has a massive 105 liter capacity, which is a lot of room, bigger than even one of our roller suitcases. And what's nice about it is the empty bag weighs right at 3 pounds. So if you think about what you could fit in here versus a bag that's starting out at 10 to 12 pounds, when you're adding bulky but maybe lighter weight things like jackets or warm kind of winter fall clothes, you can fit a lot more in here without exceeding that. And so you're not taking up your huge weight allowance in the roller bags. And so this will give us some flexibility to put bulkier things. It also gives us some flexibility to wear. And then when we get to our location, you can really just kind of fold it down into itself and get it out of its way.
Well, let's get to it. We're going to start packing. I've already started working on this bag right here. As you can see, and I started labeling it so I could remember what I was doing. With kids, like I said, when you've got like 300 things that you're packing for, it's hard to do it all in one go. We needed to kind of try on and fit and see what people had, so that we could see if we needed to get any new items. But I always pack for the things that we need for the first day or two in our carry-on. So really important to make sure that whatever you need, especially when you're traveling with kids, that you've got your pajamas for that first night, your clothes for the next day, and even a few extras, because for some reason, if those checked bags don't get to you before you get on the cruise ship, because you don't want your whole special trip to be ruined by lost luggage. So I am prioritizing splitting out some things into carry-on and into checked baggage so that we will be covered should the worst case of travel logistics happen. I really do love to buy some souvenirs on the ship or during the vacation, like this little Spirit jersey. So I don't want to spend a ton in advance on matching things before I get to the vacation. I think it's really fun to like get 1 or 2 things while you're there. So I try to think about what are key moments that would be really fun to match. So for me, embarkation day is a day where you're taking a ton of pictures. There's a lot of Disney cruise line photographers who are taking photos. You're typically taking a ton of your own photos. It's the sail away party. There's a lot of fun stuff going on embarkation day. So if I'm packing or preparing for a family, to me, that's a day that I usually try to do something that's a little bit fun. Whether it's matching or coordinating, whatever your vibe is, that's a day I put a little bit more intentionality into that. But then, and there's some other moments that I might try to do that around, whether that's for like the pirate night or for Alaska, like Frozen night, formal night. Some people love formal night. What I recommend is picking a few moments for you where you think that you might be trying to take more photos. And if that's your vibe, maybe invest there. It's already expensive, like Disney cruise, any type of vacation is going to be expensive. So I just try to like balance out a little bit, like where might we want to get something that will kind of make for fun photos, and then where can we just use the things that we already have? Because also, if you get 5 to 6 to 7 straight days of like t-shirts or sweatshirts that are very specific to your vacation, when you get home, I often think, what are you going to use those for after the fact? So I try to think about something that we'll enjoy and we'll wear during the trip, but that we'll also get some use out of after the fact. So for me, these cozy Disney Alaska sweatshirts, I thought, I love a sweatshirt. We'll wear a sweatshirt kind of all year round. So this was the one thing that we bought before the trip. We also got some red checked buffalo plaid shirts for Glacier Day, which Glacier Day, stay tuned to our next vlog so you can see more about Glacier Day. So I did get us a little something so we could look coordinated. Thought that could be a fun, cute Christmas photo for us. So we're coordinating those 2 days, and the rest of the time, we're just going to be comfy, cozy, and warm. We are going to pack the rain jackets, I will say, in our carry-ons with us, because when we get to Vancouver, it does look like we're taking a whale watching tour the very first morning after we get there. And it does look like it's going to be rainy that morning. So I'm going to make sure those get in the carry-on, again, just in case, you know, we lose that checked luggage or it's delayed in any form or fashion. We're going to be prepared with our rain gear, and we're going to be prepared with our embarkation stuff. We're going to be prepared with pajamas, everything that we need for really the first 24 to 48 hours in the case that we don't have our luggage. So I started pulling out some outfits for me that I thought could work for this trip. Again, just thinking through some layers and what could feel comfortable, and cozy is the name of the game. So I hear that there's going to be a lot of a buffalo plaid theme, so we're probably going to lean into that a little bit. And then just some like comfy, cozy sweaters, things that can layer. And then of course, we're gonna do a little bit of Disney here and there. We do have a Palo brunch reservation, and so I have this kind of sweater set here. It's a sweater and skirt, which I thought could be comfortable. Maybe even rewear the sweater one day and then add this little skirt to go with it. So I think that that's what we might actually do for Palo. In here, we have our first 2 days in Vancouver and our boarding swimsuits, pajamas, and underwear. Just gonna place that right in here to carry on. Super important to make sure you get those important things that you want early on the ship, and while you are on your first couple of days accounted for in your carry-on. I'm pulling out all of my Disney specific items here. We have our fish extender, we have our new magnet, and inside of here I have all of our old magnets from past cruises, which are super fun to bring out. We usually get like just one magnet per cruise, but our first cruise, we got everybody's names and did some fun stuff with those. We'll have fun decorating the door with these guys here. This was from last year around the same time. We went on the Fantasy, a Halloween on the High Seas cruise. And then we have our updated cruise magnet for this trip. And if you're curious about what this is and what all of these are our fish extender gifts. And they are so fun. I'm super proud of these. We have a video that goes into detail about what each of these gifts are, how much we paid for these, and some ideas for your own fish extender gifts and what the whole process is and what it's about. This is our fish extender gift holder. I'm not very crafty, and I made this myself, which I'm super proud of. So we do have our magic bands that we use in the parks and that you can use on the trip, on the cruise itself. So here's the little tag that they add to keep that on inside of the kids club. We also have a few hooks. These are pretty small and they work well for our purposes that you can use, especially on, I believe it's the older ships that have the magnetized walls. These are a few of the Disney specific things that we are going to be packing, and this doesn't take up that much space. Carrying this entire bag of your fish extenders is quite a lot of space. You can see here as I go to put it into the suitcase, which obviously I'm not going to pack it like that, but that's quite a bit of room. But the good thing is that will leave a lot of room for merch. One other thing I've done is I've pre-packed some snacks for our excursions. Folks have said that when you go on your excursions that there's not a lot you can take off the ship because it has to be sealed and pre-packaged. So I've grabbed a few snacks that we'll have to be able to take off the ship. And I'm hoping that we'll get to try some things while we're in port. But I've got a few of those bags for each of the days of our excursions.